is another exploration of the interplay and the relationship between the rib cage, the skull, the shoulder blades, and the arms. And this can be done laying on your belly, just flat on your tummy. I'm also going to show you a couple other options you can use for support underneath you. So you could use a rolled yoga mat, probably not all the way rolled up, or a blanket. And if when you lay on your belly, you've got a lot of kind of tension or stiffness in the low back, taking a rolled towel or a rolled yoga mat, and when you come down onto your belly, placing that roll right at your hip bones so that it has the impact of having the tailbone or the pubic bone kind of drop down towards the floor a little bit. So it lifts the front of the hip towards the back of the pelvis, which will have the impact of having the tailbone drop down towards the floor. So that would be one way that you could use a prop and support yourself. Laying on your belly, you're feeling some tension in the low back. Another thing you could do is, if you notice that it's difficult for you to connect to or feel the exchange that's happening between the arms and the shoulder blades and the ribcage spine, you could use that cordless ball or bender ball, partially deflated, or a kind of hot water bottle with hot water in it or with air, and it would come underneath your chest, okay? And it would just come on your breastbone, and then as we do the movement, that's going to allow things to roll quite easily. And or you can just do it like I'm going to demonstrate, straight down on the belly. Again, I will link in this video in the notes section in the description to a clip I did about a year ago in terms of freeing up the shoulder blades on the rib cage and improving that relationship using a tennis ball and or some yoga tune-up balls. So that link will be in the description. So if when you do this, there's not really a strong sense of being able to feel your shoulder blades at all or feel your shoulder blades move at all, you'll want to go check out that link in the description and do it before you come to this exploration. So coming down on the belly, maybe you've just done the prone breathing exercise, which is great. And then you're going to come down and just place your hands underneath your elbows. Your forehead is resting on the floor, and likely, depending on the size and orientation of your facial features, you might need that support underneath the chest. Okay, otherwise the nose or the chin might get in the way. So from here, all we're going to do is just start to play with taking that left hand and pushing it away and then pulling it towards the shoulder. Pushing it away and then pulling it towards. Pushing it away and then pulling it towards. And then I encourage you to play with kind of this directional sense of that push and pull. So instead of pulling directly to the shoulder, maybe when you push away, you're going on an angle. And as you pull back, you're thinking about an angle. So it's like you're doing that push-pull, but from these different kind of angles on a clock face. And that should start to give you a fairly strong connection and sensation from the hand through to the shoulder and the shoulder blade. And then just pause for a second, bring both arms down, just feel that left side relative to the right side. And then we're going to do the same thing, but with the focus being on this push and this pull. First thinking like 3 and 9 o'clock
in terms of a push and a pull. And then you can start to vary the angles, being kind of each point of the clock as you explore this push and this pull. Okay, and then just pause for a second and notice what you notice having done that right side.
Now what I'm going to encourage you to do is play with having the push away being done with your non-dominant side of the body, and this pull towards being done with the dominant side of the body. And if you don't know which side is dominant or non-dominant, that's okay. Explore pushing on one side and pulling on the other, and then change it around and just see what the impact is. If you know which side is dominant and which side is non-dominant, I'm going to encourage you right now to play with pushing away on your non-dominant and pulling towards with your dominant. Now you're going to just let your skull roll. And let your non-dominant side, the side that's pushing away, let it lead, and the other side follow. And you'll just kind of relax everything to come back. You can even play with the positions of where the hands are. And just rolling across the forehead. And then you're just going to relax the arms. Feel your left and your right side. And as always, after you finish that exploration, I really encourage you to bring yourself up to standing. My forehead's probably red from rolling across the floor. Bring yourself up to standing and notice what you notice there. Notice the amount of weight in your feet and your legs. Notice the ability of your upper body to settle and be supported by the lower body. And definitely check in and notice what's happening with your breath. What are you aware of now, having done that exploration? It might be that there's just more movement in the rib cage itself, especially in the area just below the armpits that you weren't aware of before. But I really look forward to hearing from you about what your ahas and insights are as you play with this push-pull through the shoulder girdle and the arms, just letting the skull roll.